All right, I'm going to try to not be so Olivia Pope at the...
Yeah, it's very, like, you're going to know me.
Yeah, but I'm like sweating already, so we'll see.
And we're recording, so perfect. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, what are we doing?
Well, this has been a long time coming, I think.
This has been a long time coming, and we have a little surprise for you guys. Do you want to reveal what the surprise is?
I think we need a drum roll, but we have no drum.
No, we'll tack it in. I'm Sam.
I'm Warren.
And we are
City People Nerds.
So this is a brand new podcast. We are called City People. This is under the larger umbrella of Beyond Streets, which you guys all know and love. All the transportation mobility nerds have been following Mobility Podcast and Beyond Streets for almost 7 years now. And
wild.
It's really crazy.
It's
really crazy.
Small child.
It is a small child. It's a child that would be in second grade right now. So we're still learning, how to walk and make friends and do all kinds of things.
Yes.
But in addition to that, we're expanding our world a little bit. And that's what City People is all about. So, Warren, can you give me a little bit, let's give a hint as to
what we're doing.
What we're doing here.
Yeah.
In like a sentence until we get deeper into that, because I also want the audience to know who you are.
Totally. What are we doing here, Sam? We are focusing on what makes cities great with the argument that it's the people that make cities amazing and great and awesome and stellar and dynamic.
Right. What is a city full of concrete and buildings and greenery and luxury and breweries and markets without people? So,
well, and for everyone listening and watching at home, we are currently in the West Oakland Prescott Food Hall. Very exciting. Jazz hands here. And we're doing our introductory to this whole thing right now. And we decided to cram in another episode to interview a bunch of parents about the space. So we are doing a lot.
Yeah, we are doing a lot. And as you can see, this is a very lively market. There are all walks of life, all ages of life. Hopefully you are as visually and audibly and everything sensorily stimulated as we are, because there's like music playing, people are eating, there are beers flowing.
But it's the goal, right? We want to capture like what it feels like to be in a city right now.
Absolutely. Because there's beauty in it. There's magic in it. Okay, Warren, let's not beat around the bush.
Okay.
We are in Oakland, California. So if you live around these parts, you probably know Warren Logan.
Or not. It's totally fine if you don't.
But to a lot of people, he doesn't need introduction here locally. But to all of our listeners who are literally range from Tokyo to random places in Sweden,
right,
to Indianapolis to Oakland.
Yeah.
Let's like do a proper introduction. Who is this dude who is sitting next to me in a market with his Birkenstocks and painted toenails?
Yeah, there's chartreuse today, just so everyone knows.
Chartreuse, sorry. I'm sorry. Chartreuse. And I do want to just cut to the chase because we've got a lot to cover here. What is your thing?
Yeah.
Who are you? Thing? And what is your baggage?
Yeah. I think my thing is people. I want to spend my everyday learning about the people around me and like what makes us tick. And most importantly, I think what makes us feel together and like belonging. And it's just so happens that I'm a city planner. I think a lot of people know me as like that bike guy or the slow streets guy.
Yeah.
But all of that is a means to an end. It is not the end unto itself. And we talked about this even a little bit on our last interview in your podcast, was like, I care about us, about people, about connectivity. And whether it's a bike, whether it's a bus, how do I make more friends as quickly as possible and make people feel like they belong in this space?
Totally.
I think the baggage that I'm carrying, and probably a lot of our listeners as well, is I grew up kind of lonely. Like I didn't have very many friends as a kid. And how
is that possible?
And I know
if we could zoom in to his hazel eyes right now.
Oh, thanks.
Guys, just stop. And these pearly whites, I don't know. Anyway.
I had braces for 5 years, so these pearly whites can't go anywhere. No, but truly, I think a lot of people don't know this about me, but the thing that makes me tick is that I want to feel like I belong here.
Yeah.
And I want everyone else to feel the same, no matter how different and special we are.
Absolutely.
And that I see urban design, city planning, zoning, transportation, all of it as a means to that collective end.
Yeah, as a means to creating spaces where people feel that way. And so that's your baggage. What makes you a city person?
City person. I think that we are better together, right? And that I want to participate in this like collective thing.
Yeah.
You know, and having grown up in a suburb, like a lot of millennials have,
Mhm.
it's lonely, dude. Like having to drive across the city to go see my best friend sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And now living in a city on my own volition, walking 2 blocks to go see a friend, you know, biking down the street and waving at neighbors,
Right.
coming to this market
Yeah.
and just running into friends. I mean, while
The
we've been setting up,
serendipity of it all.
yeah, while we've been setting up, we've just been bombarded by people we all know. And that's amazing. But I want to talk about you, Sam. We've been diving into my baggage, but as the woman who flew up with a lot of baggage, tell me about you, Sam.
I have a lot of baggage. We're not going to go through all of it. Some of you know me from Beyond Streets. I will just say that the way that I look at city people, people who live in rural areas, people who live in suburbs, I kind of see it as the same way as people define themselves as introverts or extroverts. In the sense that some people are kind of in between, or some people know what they're energized by. And it's very clear, it's very obvious to them. And for me, I'm very hedonistic. I need more. There's like an infinite amount of more that I can have. I
hit a wall at some point. I'm like, and that's enough people for the day.
And sometimes it's not just people, right? It's like textures and things to look at and things to be inspired by, right? But just a lot. I just need a lot of input to be happy and to feel complete and to feel like I belong in a space. I grew up in a really big, crazy, chaotic Filipino family. So maybe the noise
Which truly are the best families, though. Like, let me be clear here. I have a lot of Filipino friends, and I want to be adopted into those families.
Well, you are. You're officially
adopted. This podcast now is to be in the family.
That was actually our mission, and our vision is for Warren to become Filipino.
Perfect.
So in some ways, I just feel very comforted by it. I feel really comforted by the chaos and the noise, I guess. But my baggage is that I was born in San Francisco, but then raised in the suburbs, went to high school, went to elementary school there. And as a teen, I became very, very depressed. I became depressed in an environment where I didn't feel like there was enough movement, connectivity, spontaneity, all of those things. And it was just not a community that was really vibing towards something big.
Yeah.
And so I very quickly moved back to my hometown of San Francisco and knew that that was where I belonged, at least in a city.
Yeah.
And then I had just other baggage is that I also can't not work on things that are really important to me.
It's like you're itching. Like I want to build towards something.
I just can't struggle building something better than what we have. And like some people can separate those, you know, some people can separate jobs and passion and people and lovers. I don't.
It's all in there.
It's just all in the same bucket to me. And so, of course, I found a life partner that is also as crazy about cities as I am.
Yeah.
And my son is kind of turning into a city nerd too. So we're kind of city people for life.
Yeah.
And now I live in LA and we're building a family there. And we have all kinds
Another huge city.
Another huge major city that we'll get into. But worked for cities, helped build cities, and continuing to advise, you know, urban tech on how to actually engage with community. And so I'm a city girly.
I think I'm a city girly.
I think you are.
Maybe that's an alternate name for our podcast.
Yeah,
city girly.
City girly. That's just the tagline.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. So we're city people.
Yeah.
Who are city people? Who are other city people?
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? You know, like we are very specific types. We obviously have a podcast. We're sitting here in a market with you. And we care to tell these stories, but who are we speaking to, Warren, in your mind?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are speaking to everyone who cares about this collective thing we're building, that you can't help but want to work on connecting with more people. And I think this is the exciting part that is the transition or connectivity even between Beyond Streets, right? In our experience as transportation planners even, we tend to talk about modes, right? That's a bicyclist, that's a pedestrian, that's a driver. But what we aren't doing,
and we talk about infrastructure.
Totally. What we're not doing is talking about that person's lived experience and like what takes them to the next level in terms of like them being a parent, them being a student, or like a family man or a dad. And what I want to get out of this is an opportunity of like wrestling with that interconnectivity of all of our identities.
Yeah.
And driving that back to our audience and saying, you are a whole person. Let's talk about you as a whole person.
Yeah. I hope that it grows to an audience that didn't normally see themselves, you know?
And I'll give you an example. Not that many years ago, I want to say, had a college professor who said, everyone wakes up and is a transportation planner on their way to work, on their way to school, on their way to drop off their kids. And that even though
it's like a beautiful mind.
Absolutely. And that most people wouldn't think of themselves as city planners or as transportation planners or zoning
city planners.
Right. Yeah. Most people don't actually.
Yeah.
And yet we impact everyone's lives.
Right.
It is important to recognize, though, that all of us are doing this individually, and that what perhaps makes our profession special is that we have to collect everyone's opinions and drive towards a common goal.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Anyway, when it's done as well as possible.
And so the audience basically isn't just planners. It's not planners, it's not mayors, it's not all decision makers. It's people who literally walk the streets every single day. They're tenants who are pissed at their landlords because something isn't working again. It's a bus driver who literally knows the same person by face coming in. It's the gadfly that comes to City Hall every Tuesday and says whatever's, on his or her mind that day. Yeah. I mean, they're people who care deeply and sometimes care loudly. And I hope that this is for them.
So don't call themselves city planners, or maybe don't even call themselves city people. And yet you've chosen to live in a city probably and are kind of wondering, like, shall I keep doing this?
Yeah.
What keeps me here? What anchors me here?
What anchors me? I think there are so many people who have like a love-hate. I have a love-hate relationship with the city that I'm in at all times. But there was this quote in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, that movie from several years ago, where he said, you don't get to hate San Francisco unless you love it.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is the constant dichotomy.
Oakland has that same thing. I think Angelinos feel the same way, that we are always complaining a little bit about our city, whether it's the noise, whether it's that person that cut me off on the street. But we also would never have it any other way, right? The moment you have a perfect day, you're like, something's wrong here.
Yeah. Like, am I on something,
The vibes are off.
Yeah, totally. Why have a podcast about this?
Yeah.
Why have another conversation? Haven't we dialogued our way out of this? There's so many substacks at this point. Yeah. The way I see it is there are like 20 people who are talking about 10 of the same topics on hundreds of different podcasts.
They totally are.
So, like, why?
Because they're missing something.
Yeah.
Right. And it's actually, I think, what makes our friendship so special is that every time we want to talk about this one parcel of zoning, or we want to talk about housing as a subject, or we want to talk about bike lanes, you and I can't help but throw that aside and then start talking about the person behind each one of these decisions and about the full perspective that helps me build these places.
Totally.
And having listened to a lot of those podcasts, and no shade to any of them, I love all of our podcasts. We listen to them. I want to provide one more drop in the bucket, which is that I think we're missing the humanity in a lot of these things. And in my experience as a transportation planner, not, is that the moment I reveal a little bit more about someone's background instead of whatever specific profession has brought us together, I learn way more about them.
Totally.
We find better policy solutions. We come up with even better ideas for making streets safer. You're totally fine. Sorry. No,
this is a good thing.
This is the point. We're talking about people. Case in point, right? That we get to not only learn more about those people, selfishly, because I don't want to be lonely, but also that I strongly believe we will build better infrastructure, better housing, better parks, better spaces, not unlike this market, when we're able to intersect all these different subjects with the lived experience that you and I and everyone else around us is having every day.
Well, and I may be one of those strange people who believes this, but I also think it's just more effective and it's more efficient, because there have been too many projects that I have seen wasted year over year trying to propose something different or like a version of it that is a little bit different, that either goes nowhere or is built, and that people either aren't utilizing the way that they had anticipated when you could have just started years ago, right, on understanding the community. So that's like one piece. And then in my work on a day-to-day basis, the private sector often, and even government, is perplexed about the community sentiment. Why is it this way? Why are they so angry about XYZ? And how come some people don't say anything? And there's a vocal minority.
Hi, kiddo.
Hi. Oh. It's okay.
No, you're totally fine.
Cutie patoon.
Oh my God. One day my cheeks will look like that.
I like the beat on your shirt.
Oh my God, so adorable.
Freaking adorable.
What were we just talking about?
There are so many kids that we are like fawning over here. But I don't remember what I was talking about because that kid was so freaking cute.
Talking about what makes this podcast special,
Oh.
the voice that we're adding to it. Then we're juiced about like,
Yes.
all the amazing people around us.
Yes. Okay. So, and I was saying that like many people are often perplexed as to like how to engage with the community. It's actually not that hard. It's not that hard. It's just like actually meeting people where they are and trying to understand them. And so we're doing that out loud.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I will also say that there's something very different, I hope, about this podcast. At least that's the goal.
Yeah.
Is we as city people don't talk about cities as much as we experience them every single day. So we are going to be doing some like very interesting experiments. We're going to be, here's another one. He has a truck.
He has a truck and a wand and a thing. Oh my God. They're all so
They're
cute.
just so freaking cute. These little humans. We are going to be literally in people's homes talking about their day-to-day lives. They're going to be hopefully on trains.
Yes.
We might be on a freaking bike.
I hope
Like,
so.
I don't know. This is going to be really
Whatever safe.
experiential.
Yeah.
And experimental. And right now we're
Experiencing it.
yes.
Yeah.
And
It's
hopefully
funny.
you can hear the sounds and see the activity going on here.
Well, and that's the other part, right? Is that so many podcasts happily are very isolated, right? You're hearing only the person talking, they're describing what's going on, but sometimes miss the opportunity to kind of capture the world around what they're talking about. And that's why we chose this as our kind of beginning, was let's be in a place where in about 5 seconds there are going to be a lot more people here.
Yeah.
And we're already starting to see way more parents and kids just running by.
I also think that there's cities, and the cities that we're in, and I have a fun question for you later about your city. There's like a bigger picture reason that I think this conversation, at least personally, is so important right now.
Yeah.
You spoke about the isolation issue, but I also think that there's a lot of isolation, there's a lot of division, there's a lot of like questioning, is my purpose in this space?
Yeah.
How am I actually impacted by all the chaos that we see in the news on a regular basis? And the solve for that is like engagement. It's engagement, it's community, and connectivity. And I think that there is just a larger need for more of that. And so more is more.
Like we all doing here.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Okay, so my fun city question for you.
Okay.
And you can be as whatever about this as you want. But so we are both in different cities, but we like to see each other as much as humanly possible at this point. Oakland is your city.
Oakland is
You're
my city.
in Oakland, California, as I mentioned. If Oakland were a person, what kind of friend would they be?
Oh my goodness. You know, it's funny you should say this because I actually think this is the kind of friend that I complain that I've surrounded myself with.
We all have them.
Yeah. This friend is loyal as hell.
Yes.
But don't ask this friend for their opinion because they're going to tell you what they think.
Be careful what you wish for with this friend.
Be careful you ask because Oakland's going to tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
But that's also the person who's going to be your ride or die.
Yes.
And
Ride or
it's
die.
crunchy sometimes, but
A little
leaving your
avocado sometimes.
Yeah, right. But isn't going to abandon you, right? That they are there for you through the bad and the good. And I think that that's what's so special about why I love this city. Sorry, I'm like a little tearing up. Is like I remind myself every day, like, why do I live here?
Can we zoom in on his tears? No, go ahead.
You're fine. As I'm crying a little, like, it's that friend that is gonna call you and be like, hey sis, you were looking a little messy out there.
Yeah.
But also, I love you. Bye. You know.
Totally. It's like honesty is its love language.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can be a little
But not
press
everybody.
for some people,
Yes.
right?
But I believe everyone needs that friend that is
Yes.
honest with themselves.
Yes.
And Oakland knows who Oakland is.
Totally.
Right? And if you don't want to fuck with Oakland, that's on you.
That is on you.
Yeah.
You have
Oakland's
to
going to tell you about
You
that.
have to be ready to receive that type of
Yeah.
friendship.
But Los Angeles, Sam, if Los Angeles were a friend, and we have to be precise here because LA is huge, right? Because there's West LA, there's South LA, there's the port, there's the hills.
I should have thought of this given that I was giving
You're the one who
you
asked the
that question. But Los Angeles is that friend that you underestimate.
Okay.
In the sense that, you know, sometimes their executive functioning isn't always there.
Sure.
And so you're like, ugh, like, come
Like, girl.
on. Or like I'm constantly trying to, you know, get them to do more.
Understood.
Trying to get them to do more, trying to get them to participate a little bit more in the day-to-day. But I say underestimate because when shit hits the fan,
LA is down.
they show up.
Yeah.
Like in ways that countries don't show it.
Right.
And
that's what you get when you have 10 million people in one spot, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's the sheer volume of it, but
Yeah.
then we just have a culture of fucking rally. Oh, we're gonna have to explicit this episode because there will be will be curse words, grown-up words. Yeah, LA rallies when we really need to. On the day-to-day, we're not always up to par, I would say.
Sure.
And it's because of the sheer volume.
Mhm.
The other thing I would say, some people find this to be humorous, some people find it to be troubling.
Okay.
It's also the friend that's got too many kids.
Yeah.
Girl, not another one.
Not another one.
Because what happens when you got the 10 or the 11th kid and then it keeps growing and you don't keep adding income to it,
Mhm.
is some kids fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And then some really rise to the occasion.
Right. Those the older kids are like, I had to raise some of these kids.
Yeah, but it's by sheer trauma that we really
Hear that.
get out of it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot
LA's
going
been
on
through
with
some
LA.
stuff. Yeah.
LA's been through some stuff, but we
that's where
rally.
Oakland and LA have this together, right?
Yeah.
Our girlies have been through some stuff.
They've seen some things.
They've done some things, but they're always ready to rise above that
Yes.
when given a really important challenge.
And people often are standing in these cities and they're like, I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're still standing. Hi, baby. Hi. Hi. Hello. We got furry friends joining
Hello.
us. We have little people joining us. Hi.
Hello to the dog owner as well.
Thank you for letting us.
Hi. Oh my God, you're so pretty.
Oh my gosh, look at that teal. Look at that teal.
I love you. Goodbye.
They don't love us as much as we love them.
I know.
So
City
I'm really
people.
excited about city people.
Yeah.
I hope that people are as excited as we are.
Yeah.
But to wrap things up, I do want to give folks something to look forward to. So we do have an episode coming up very, very shortly that we won't give away, but let's just say in the middle of it, there is a twist, a little bit of a twist.
We love a twist.
We love a twist. We'll see more twists probably, but we do want to hear from you as to like, what is some kind of auditory visual experience in cities that you want to see, that you want us to do? Because we'll do it.
Yeah.
And we also want to know like what city you're in.
Yeah.
And what kind of friend it is to you. So that's what I want. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
What about you, Warren?
When I invite our listeners to share their experiences with us, just as you said, but try and hold us accountable to having the roundest conversations we can.
Totally.
That's what this really was born out of. And I hope that our listeners push us to explore sometimes really difficult, challenging topics, but with the most respectful and exciting and courageous ways we can.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, with that is a wrap of our first ever episode of City People. Hey, girlies. Okay, guys, see you soon.
See ya.